Hello, hello! Es regnet! Ich find's endgeil! Hört ihr das? Welcome to the stream! Welcome Daniel, welcome Mantis, welcome Beno, welcome Niels, welcome Fred, welcome in! You have no idea how happy I am whenever it's raining. It's so cozy. Hey, Harambe! Special welcome to the stream. First time chatter, but I assume there are not two different types of Harambe. So I'm pretty sure I know who you are. Which is the future owner of the mini that we are going to be painting today. I'm glad you made it. It should be early in the morning for you. Let me show you some of the minis I painted in the meantime that you haven't seen yet. I did some test schemes on the gargoyles, and I came up with these patterns that look a little bit like veins on the skin, which is something I really like. And you've already seen that I don't like the transparent things for the flyer bases. So all of the flyers got like high bases in different heights, and I'm really happy with how these turned out. And as you can see, they have Gene Stealer heads instead of the gargoyle heads, which I think is a nice touch for a Gene Stealer project. Welcome, Flo. Welcome to the stream. Oh, I have to close the window now. It's too cozy. How is everyone doing? How's your week? And also, welcome to Niels 300. Der Wasserspeier sieht fantastisch aus. Vielen Dank. Vielen Dank. Wir starten. I have my palette more or less fixed. And I have the recipe now tuned in. So after all these little tests and experiments, I'm now ready to go and know how to paint these in an efficient way so that they still look good. I will start with all the dark parts. So, hey Traumerei, welcome to the stream. So ein Feuerball, Junge. Let's start with the dark elements, which has become such a special color combination because I'm going from dragon blood, obviously, and a dark brown into browns into a mint color. So this is the little journey that we're doing now, from this dark purple over to the browns, and then we are actually ending up here. This is the recipe for these dark armor parts. Fast so geil wie in die Ritterzeit. Alrighty, let me set a timer so that I have a rough overview, and we can start. And go. So, how was everyone's week? Is everyone holding up with all the global shit going on? I feel like I haven't heard any huge crazy stuff politics wise, and I'm never sure if that's a good sign because I managed to kind of keep out of the crazy stuff, or if it's just like the silence before the storm and now something terrible is just about to pop up. But I feel like the last week was actually, it was okay. I'm in a really good mood because on the weekend, instead of working, I am having a weekend off. I'm very much looking forward to it because I am going into a cabin in the woods with 3 other friends, so it's 4 of us, and all we are going to do is play Magic. I have 2 displays prepared, so we will just crack open booster packs, play with the cards from inside, and have a weekend in the mountains. And I think there's not a lot that can compete with that. Sorry, girls. It's just perfect. It's just completely amazing. We've been planning this, I think, 2 months ago. I haven't stopped thinking about that ever since. It's just peak. Peak, peak, peak. Warte, hast du ein Tool, was dir die Nachricht auf Deutsch übersetzt? Sehr cool. I have not. I'm commenting on someone's comment on YouTube. I don't have a tool that is like not on purpose. If you're texting in English and it's translating it into German, then this is some auto stuff from YouTube that I have not chosen on purpose. Where are you from? Neil 300. Hey, salut, Volker. I was thinking about you today because I totally forgot to ask you how your workshop experience was. I assume I know the answer since everything you've been posting so far sounded very positive and it sounded like you had a great time. But still, I haven't asked you specifically. It looked like a cool concept with the moving train parts and elements. Doing a little bit of wet blending here so that these parts, I want these little weird things on the top to actually be transitioning into blue because I think they look a little bit like antennas. Hey Lenny, Gig, Gastro ist geil, hä? Lenny, hast du gesehen, dass auf Funk einfach ein Beitrag gepostet wurde, wo einfach Gebirge ist geil gepostet wurde? Guck dir das mal an, ich muss sofort an dich denken. Gig macht einfach die Runde jetzt. Also Gig macht schon lange die Runde, aber ich meine Gig abgeändert als Nicht-Gastro macht jetzt die Runde. Gig steht nämlich für Jeans-Dealer ist geil. Alrighty. I'll switch back to English. Don't worry, guys. But you cannot translate gastronomy is awesome. It just doesn't work if you translate it. Gehalt ist gering. Stark. Okay. Blocking in colors. There's a little bit of interesting stuff going on here in the middle. I'm not sure how I will define this, since this is the first model of this kind. I'm very happy that I finally got my hands on the original Raveners, because they've been sold out for such a long time. I was just about to start converting them by myself, and then someone, I think Volker, wasn't it even you here in the stream? Someone mentioned, oh, they're back online. So now you can actually buy them again. At least on the official Warhammer website. But usually if you can get them on the Warhammer website, it's a couple of days later you can get them in all the shops too. Oh, these, but I really have to say, those are like some of my favorite Tyranid models. They are so cool. The sculpts are just amazing. They have like special parts. They look very extra. Oh, it wasn't a Chewy workshop? Never mind. My brain isn't working properly. Oh, yeah, no, it wasn't my workshop. It was Ben's. Ist es dir lieber, wenn ich Englisch oder Deutsch schreibe, um deinen Flow nicht zu killen? Whatever you prefer. Usually so I'm streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at the same time, and I'm jumping between both comment sections. So usually over on Twitch, there are a bunch of Germans, and sometimes when they write in German, I obviously answer in German because it tricks and fools my brain. But yeah, whatever you feel most comfortable with. There's no pressure. I just try to not stick to German for too long so that everyone else from the English speakers can also follow along and don't feel excluded. Is anyone actually coming to Vienna? I'm very much looking forward to Vienna, also because I am going to visit a friend there. One of the friends who is also coming to the Magic Playcation on the weekend. But there's going to be a workshop series with 2 different workshops in Vienna. And I think, after we talked about it last week, I think I'm ready to talk about doing one in Berlin. I mean, if I'm going to Berlin anyways, since last week, another 2 people have asked me if I'm going to do one in Berlin. So I think there's enough, we can gather enough people. Okay, I can actually zoom in a little bit further so you can see more. Look at that. I'm going to start in to blend some of the blue parts that I was talking about. Now this is the ugly stage. You need to trust the process. This is just for the sketching. The refinement is coming later. Mantis is hyped for Berlin. All right, yeah, let's do it. We just need to find a location. That's the main thing. Getting a location is probably the biggest point. If anyone knows a great location that ideally doesn't charge, I'm all open for suggestions. And I looked at my project planning for this year. I'm very much looking forward for the orcs of 11th edition too. I prepared some orcs on the weekend. So there's going to be a YouTube video about the orcs. Hope either this week or ready for when it's being released. I think on the 20th this month there's the official release. So probably around that, it's smart to release a video about it. So that's what I'm aiming for right now. And in preparation for that, I painted 2 orc models, and I'm going to get the new box and paint some of the new orcs. That's something I was very much looking forward to since a long time, and now they get a rework, so no more excuses. I'll be painting some orcs. Look at this brown blue, such a cool color combo, huh? Very rarely seen. I am so weak. I told myself no buying new minis for at least until end of August. What do I do instead? Ordered hobby tools. Well, that counts. You managed. You didn't buy any new minis. Okay, now that these are transitioning into blue, I think for these antennas on the head, I want them to be additionally also transitioning into some mint tone. Volker, ich entschuldige dich, du darfst AFK gehen. Ich hätte gerne aber noch eine schriftliche Entschuldigung. Okay, let's do some mint on the edges. Oh, look at that. Such a bam color. Boom. Looks like a mantis. This is obviously very, very nature inspired. It feels a little bit like, what's the Pokemon in English? In German, it's Sichlor. Yeah, like Mantis. That's right. Scythes, I think, is the English name of the Pokemon. I'm very bad with English. Scyther, right? Yeah. I'm very bad with the English Pokemon names because I always played it in German as a kid, and then nowadays I'm not too deep into Pokemon, more into Magic. So I have decent knowledge of the first 150. But very poor in English. Isn't this a fantastic color? I mean, it's no secret that blue and browns work. It's a very, for me, every time I see this, it feels a little bit like a desert scheme. Because, like, it's a classic thing, like, for the desert inhabitants to have, like, very turquoise cloth, and the sand around them is brownish. I feel like this is always a very Sahara theme for me in my head. But doing it within one surface is something that I haven't done before myself. So this is also something that, while testing, just came into my mind, was like, hey, let's test it and try it, and I really liked it. The magic for me happened when the brown has to be the majority of the surface. You can't have too much of the blue. It's only for the edges. Hey, Raccoon. Welcome to the stream. Loving the color combinations. Glad you like it, man. Did you see the Pikachu motivational speech? Not yet. Thanks, Nanil 3000. Greetings to Thüringen. All right. Then I will continue strengthening this effect. Pushing some of the highlights now, especially here in the top part. How have you been? It's been a while. Yeah, I'm as always busy. Many projects, no time. I started 10,000 things at once again. So as always, time is my enemy. But I slowed down a little bit on the posting. I try to paint more, but still there's so much organizing going on. Like I don't even know what I'm doing all day, but I usually just paint in the mornings. And then I go to myself like, oh, this was a great session. I should definitely paint again today. And then I blink once and it's like 9 o'clock in the evening. I'm like, the fuck, what happened with the time? All these emails and texting people back and covering data, cutting videos, preparing the next thing, ordering tools, whatever's missing, communication, all those type of things. They just add up, and then suddenly it's evening again. Dabei versuche ich dich in Ruhe zu lassen. Ach, Nils. Genau, Nils. Einfach Betreuung von Nils. Das verbraucht alles Zeit. Don't get me wrong, guys. I like that, and for me it's really important that it doesn't feel like I'm a bot automatically answering questions or stuff like that. I really appreciate whenever someone asks something, and I like to take my time. And also, I have to say, like, it's not like I'm working all the time. I'm also trying to do some sports during the day, because if I go in the evening, it's super packed. So during the daytime, I usually also try to go to the gym. That's also one big time block that is stealing time, but hey, my back wants to sit straight and upright, so that I can do this for a long time. So a little bit of movement with this very inside focused hobby is something that I realize is something I need to do on a regular basis. And I enjoy that, but it's also time, you know. You have to invest time. And if you would stay healthy just by sitting, I would be the Pope of healthiness. I don't really enjoy moving. While moving, I'm just constantly thinking about this. But yeah, it's not like it's like I'm torturing myself. It's okay-ish. And it's nice, refreshing part in the middle of the day, so that I can get like some fresh energy for the second half. I plan to paint a Necron style mini, but I'm not sure about the underpainting colors. Chromatic gray on the metallic parts, red capes, and maybe green glow. I thought about purple and turquoise as underpainting. What are your thoughts about that? There are 1,000,000 ways to do this. This is not an easy question to answer if you just go like, what would you do? If you ask myself, what would you do? I always start a project by going, what's the opposite of the box art? Like, I don't want, if I would paint Necrons, I would not paint them green. And I would not paint them metallic. Those are probably my first things, because those are the parts that I've seen more than enough. Like, every Necron I've ever seen is green and metallic. So those are the two things that I would start to avoid. So it's a really difficult thing. If you ask me what would you do, it's like I make this a science. I sit down for hours. I do 10 test minis. I try things. I look at references. This is not a question that I will be able to answer in between. I'm actually doing a workshop on exactly this, on how to find your color scheme for an army. And then testing which colors go together, how much balance you bring into the saturation tones, how much desaturated colors, all that type of stuff. I love thinking about it, building the bases to it. So just that type of stuff is something I really like. I know. I am gathering ideas. Perfect, yes. If you're asking me, I would do something that people haven't seen before. That's always a refreshing take. I'm constantly out of picture. Let me zoom out a little bit. I'm just always falling behind. Is anyone excited about 11th edition, or is just everyone just meh? Am I the only one who's actually hyped? Like, I don't care about the rules, but I care about new orc bottles and people being excited about new fresh orcs. What? Is there a new edition of 40k coming? Yes! This... Oh wait, this is sarcasm. Donnerwetter, ich möchte versuchen, dein Muster nachzuahmen. Mach das gerne. Hey Chewie, ich verfolge dich schon eine Weile und das ist das erste Mal, dass ich einen Livestream sehe. Cool. Welcome to the stream. Brass Hammerforge. Glad you like it. Adding some of those extra minty drops here and there. Slowly pumping up the contrast. Okay. I like where this is going. Actually, now that I'm seeing the colors on the model, let me add a tiny bit of purple in the lower parts. Like down here, like this seems, oof, look at that glaze. Doing all the magic work. Like a little bit of purple in there. It suits the color scheme so well because there's also purple in the Genestealer armor. Like the Genestealer, let's say, more humanoid models. They all have some purple on the collar. Oh yeah, this purple does a lot of magic. I like it. Only in the lower halves. This is great. Now, let's have a look at the skin. I'll start blocking in the skin. Was war die Frage? Wurde abgelenkt? I haven't cared for 40k edition since 4th or 5th edition. The minis, on the other hand, I've always been interested. Oh yeah, 100%. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't care at all about any of the new rules. I couldn't care less. But the new models, like especially the new Orc Doctor, that's something I like a lot. Nils, ich glaube, es gab keine specific question. Nards B, welcome to the stream. Special welcome since Twitch is telling me you're a first-time chatter. So special welcome to the stream. We're painting some Tyranids today. And we're about to start with the, let's call it inner skin. So I kind of, in my head, I distributed the surfaces into soft skin and hard shell skin. So anything that is more on the harder side is getting this pale white, yellow, greenish 6 skin. And anything that is like a hard carapace is getting this dark brown, purple into blue transitioning. Looking really nice. Thanks, man. Glad you like it. I've been experimenting a lot with which color goes where, and now it feels really rewarding to just apply it. So I've been thinking a lot about the color scheme and then did all the tests, and now it's just execution. The executioner. Keeping it dark green on the lower side, so I'm taking all the airbrush, the hard airbrush work still into account. So even if I'm at like 30 minutes now with a little bit of chatting with you lovely people, but there's a lot of, not a lot, but there has been probably like a quick spray with the airbrush for zenithal, gradually building up the skin tones. That's been done in a badge so that they all look more or less similar, since for an army you want the bases to be the same, and you want the bases and faces, you want those two parts, especially the bases, you want to look similar on the model so that you can see, okay, these are a group of people that are fighting together. All right, let's pump up the more extreme highlights. And then I found out that washing this with some very intense, high pigmented reddish and yellowish putrid colors is helping a lot to give the color punch. Like, you want some saturation in there. On the first couple test models, after having them on the bench for a couple of days, I was like, something's missing, and it was the saturation, the intensity of the colors. So that's something that I started doing as a quick fix now. As you can see, pumped up the contrast once more, going a little bit brighter. I want to be ending at a close to, it's called golden yellow, which is, it reads, since the rest of the mini is rather dark, it reads close to white. Feels very bright, feels like a pale skin tone. That's what I want this to be ending with. I just realized this top part in the middle should also be dark, huh? I really love your gradients and general style. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. I'm very happy when people say that, because for a very long time I was struggling with. I'm a rather fast painter, so I'm more on the speed painting side of things. Because I personally also like the looser style in the end result, like when you can see some visual brush strokes and you can actually see some texture. It's like, I'm not a big fan of perfect blends. Also in oil painting, like I've never been a huge, oh, that's not true. As a kid, I was a huge fan of realism, but nowadays, like when I look at art, whenever there's someone who paints like the perfect face, I think it's very impressive from a technical point of view, but from an art point of view, I'm usually not very interested in for a long time in those type of paintings, because it's a type of camera when you paint in a pure 100% realism style. And the same goes for miniature painting to me. It's like I don't have the patience to do the crazy perfect blends where you just spend so much time on microscopic changes, and I'm a much bigger fan of the bigger picture. The interesting thing on that color scheme is that you are using basically everything. Contrast, red, blue, green, yellow, color, temperature, warm shadows, warm highlights, values, and in the end it's all tied together by the yellow tint in the highlight colors. Great observation. Over on YouTube, someone is saying, had no idea you're live streaming. Big fan, mein Deutsch ist nicht sehr gut. No worries, man. I'll stick to English. Thanks for those kind words. Yeah, live streaming. I'm usually live streaming on Tuesdays. It's called Chewy Tuesday. And I've been doing the live streams. I could ask Niels and Daniel. These guys are here since the dawn of time. I think it's like a 1.5 years, something like that. So for 1.5 years I've been streaming. But the thing is, since I'm only streaming once a week, it's not like the most widespread thing. And if I'm not feeling it and I skip a Tuesday, then all of a sudden it's like 2 weeks of no streaming, so there's like a little bit of irregularity coming from my side due to time. Yeah, that general oil painting style. I wish I could wrap my head around that style, but could never. Grew up with watercolors, aquarelle. Nice. I did tons of aquarelle. I also have I usually do aquarelle when I'm on vacation. Such an interesting take on painting, since it's basically inverted. Like you need to leave the recesses you leave are your highlights. I think it's very, very twisted. But I really envy oil painting style. Not too clean, but nicer pop. Yeah, I think it's just it's good that not everyone's painting the same thing. So it's interesting for us to look at other people's stuff, and for other people it's interesting to look at our stuff. I think it's nice. Not everyone has to be painting everything. That's the one big part that I'm enjoying in the hobby. What I find inspiring about your work is that you're reshifting away from Ivy Metal and perfect blends. Yes, 100%. I'm not a big fan of Ivy Metal style. Giving importance to brushstrokes, contrast, and textures. I'm also approaching my miniatures in a much free way and feel confident to try and experiment. Your style and romance are so inspiring. Thanks so much. I'm also a huge fan of romance stuff, and we do. Yeah, the style is rather similar on many things. I've been in Roman's studio for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and we've been painting together a little bit before Valbjörn's workshop, and we got to talk a little bit. Yeah, feels like a very like-minded soul, and I have huge respect for Roman, since he's been in this business doing this full time since such a long time. I have bangers respect for that. And something you mentioned is something that I like to mention a lot too. The keyword here is experimenting. I'm always telling people, try and test more. That's when you see it in your hand, you can tell if you like it or not. If you just think about it constantly, it's very easy to overthink and to go like, but then I need to plan my highlight, and then I need to, but then, warm, cold, contrast, blah, blah, blah. Paint it, do it, experiment. And then your eye will tell you, this is looking great, this is looking crap. And if it's looking crap, it's acrylic paint. There's no shame in just overpainting it. And that's absolutely fine. Hi, welcome to the stream, Kulvi Kombanti. Wow, that's a crazy name that I cannot articulate correctly. But special welcome to the stream, since you are a first-time chatter. Do you also do this full-time? Yes, I started doing this full-time 1.5 years ago, approximately. So I do a little bit of commission painting, but I try to move a little bit away from the commission painting. My dream would be to only work on projects that I choose and then sell the projects afterwards. But here and there, like, I'm very picky with my commissions. So if I don't like something, I tell the people and make suggestions of models that I would rather paint, or suggestions for color schemes. So usually when someone asks me to paint a box art, chances are high that I will decline. And in the meantime, I put a lot of time into creating the tutorials of what I'm painting over on Patreon. Sometimes the bot here in the chat is also posting the link to the Patreon. And yeah, that's the best way to support the channel and to support the work, so I can continue working on it, continue producing content, continue trying to help others. And over there, I kind of spend my time on PDF tutorials and video tutorials where I'm explaining what I do. And since I was a designer in my last job, it's really important to me that the PDFs are easy to understand, nice to follow, nice to look at. And I've been a busy bee. I've posted quite a lot over on Patreon, and I think it's like close to 100 PDFs now, and I think 30 videos or something like that, which I think is a good library of stuff to start. Like I can when I'm writing tutorials these days, I'm very happy when I can refer to other things. Like if I'm doing something like, hey, if you want to learn about this, there's a more in-depth version over here. So that's a cool thing after doing it and building up like a library. And then another third part of my income is doing live workshops. Oh yeah, thanks Niels. There's the link to the Patreon. Yeah, one big part is doing live workshops, so teaching the people in person. That's also something I'm very much enjoying. It's very exhausting, since it's usually like 8 hours of full attention, and I like to be very present and very. I go around a lot and talk to the people individually. Because I like that, and it feels a little bit more like, what's a good term for that? It feels more, for the people, it feels more like an individual thing, so they can, I can talk more about their individual needs. But at the same time, every time I go home after a workshop, I'm like, oof, I'm cooked. This was exhausting. Because my normal day is just me being home alone and painting all day. So I don't have a lot of people contact, and I enjoy seeing people. I'm not an introvert person. I really enjoy talking to people and making contacts, talking to new people. I'm a huge fan of that, meeting new people. But I can feel how my energy is being drained. Like I cannot do this for one week straight. For me, it's perfect to have like 1 day social interaction, 1 day pause. Do you also play tabletop games or something in your free time? Oh, there is no free time. Doing this full time means doing this full time. It's a little joke, but it's also basically true. Ich folge dir schon lange auf Instagram und jetzt hat mich der YouTube-Algorithmus hierher geführt. Dein Red Terror ist großartig. Vielen Dank, Cody. Vielen Dank. Yeah, the Red Terror was something that was perceived really well over on Instagram. I think it's my most successful video that I've ever posted on Instagram. But on YouTube, the video flopped. But well, not flopped, but I was expecting it to perform a little bit better, but also my YouTube channel is not like I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I try to do a YouTube video here and there sometimes, but for me, just the amount of work that I have to put into a YouTube video is ridiculous compared to the outcome. Yeah, it's like doing a YouTube video is like 2 days of painting, then footage of 2 days of painting, then cutting that footage is 1 day of work probably, then doing the voiceovers, the final cutting, selecting music, all that type of stuff, then doing the thumbnail, the perfect titles, the timestamps, the description, all that stuff is like, maybe I'm just slow, but making a YouTube video for me is a lot of effort. I really don't understand how people do like 6 videos a month. It's completely madness. So yeah, I try to do 1 video per month. Sometimes, like last month, you guys get lucky and I can do 2. Was the release of the Red Terror, which I got as a preview from Games Workshop. So I really wanted to paint that model, and I was really looking forward to that model. So that was 1 video. And oh yeah, and I finished the huge Blood Angels army project. So that was a funny coincidence that I made. I managed to get 2 videos out in a short time. But don't get used to that. I will not be able to hold up to that consistency. So yeah, now the next video is in the planning. Next YouTube video is going to be about orcs, since the new edition is also going to be about orcs. And then there's going to be a video about pigments. I'm experimenting a lot with pigments at the moment, and I'm trying to answer all the beginner questions that people have about pigments, how I use pigments, how I fix pigments. Pigments. I love using pigments, and I feel like many people are still a little bit afraid of using pigments. So I'm trying to clarify and help out so that more people can enjoy the dust. Right now I'm just pushing highly more saturated reds into the recesses of the skin, so you can see like under his arm there's some soft skin parts, and I'm trying to block these in with a little bit more of those saturated reds. But I'm completely in love where this is going. It's looking so good already. I'm very happy. It's rough, like I need to do all the refinement, but the combo of colors, like the carapace is dark, the skin is bright, and I will push this brightness contrast even further after some special sauce. Here comes the special sauce. And when the special sauce is drying, I will grab a drink, because I forgot to get some water to the painting desk. All right. Let me zoom in, because I think this is... Oh, it's already fully zoomed? No, there we go. We got a couple of centimeters left. Okay, let me show you what I mean with sauce. You see the difference? It's a diluted, highly saturated color that is tinting the entire surface, making it, I think it looks a lot richer, especially compared to the other side. It's very subtle, but these kind of little subtle things, when you add them up, They do make a difference. And now the great thing is now the surface is wet, and I can do more of this reddish painting into the transitions, and these just wet and wet blend perfectly into each other. It's my favorite way of painting, letting the colors do all the work. I'm not doing the hard lifting here. It's the colors. Do you have to apply to get a preview new releases, or how do they get chosen? The difference in quality of the submissions is sometimes pretty large. Good question. So to get into the program is ridiculous, because obviously everyone wants to get into the program. I was lucky. I asked them in person because they never reply to emails. I think before I got into the program, I've at least written 15 emails going like, hey, I'd like to contribute. I'd like to get the preview boxes, blah, blah, blah. And I think everyone has done this. And with all the people who are into Warhammer, they probably get like thousands of mails, and therefore just don't reply. I guess like this, none of this is confirmed. I'm not trying to spread rumors. It's just like how I explain the world to myself. So I thought it would be smart to go there in person. And that's what I did. And since my account is rather healthy and I'm a busy bee posting on a fairly regular basis, and thanks to your lovely support, for them it was interesting to look into that. And then I waited for half a year for all the confirmation and blah. It's a big company, so things are going slow. And even then, the program, sometimes it's like they ask you to paint something, or hey, do you want to paint this? And then you never get the box. That also happens. So it's, yeah. I mainly do it because it's a free commission for them. It's a really good deal for Warhammer. And I have no idea how most of the people got into the program, because they have some really high quality painters in there with like Angelo Di Cello, Demon Rich, Richard Gray. Yeah, I've seen Eric Swenson paint something for the community articles. Juan, El Miniaturista. So there are a bunch of really high quality painters in there. But yes, you are right. There's also some, let's say, more normal painters in there. And I think it's a smart decision, because from a Warhammer marketing perspective, you don't want to make people feel like, oh, this is impossible. I will never be able to achieve this. But when you see people paint it in a human way, it maybe makes you more go like, oh yeah, this is something I could actually achieve. So I think from a marketing perspective, it's quite smart to also include some painters that do it just like a hobby, just like most people do it. Not everyone can spend full time on this. It's a privilege. So yeah, but I'm very, very, very happy that I'm in the program, because if I'm getting, like, for the Red Terror, I made the tutorial and I made a YouTube video, and by the release I already had everything ready. So for me it's a time thing. I don't get into stress. Usually when there's a new model and I get a preview copy, I usually have a tutorial ready, so that when people get the box, they can go to the Chewy Patreon and find a painting guide. That's at least my personal little goal. Okay. Yummy, 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 yum. This is going in all the directions that I wanted it to be. This could be smoother. Let's invest some time here. And the big claws. Those are big surfaces, so they also pull attention. That's where you will be looking, so I will be investing some minutes into that. Cool. All right. Now I'll let this dry and just get something to drink. Stop the time. I do have sometimes a weird feeling about everything becoming a matter of performance or productivity. Yes, I can agree a lot. For example, get that level of painting performance or being able to paint at a decent level with X hours. And this is amplifying with social media. Oh yeah, 100%. I'm a huge critic of this, and I'm a victim and a factor inside of this. For me, for my business, it's good to post on a regular basis, but at the same time, from a human perspective, I would like to also do it less so I can paint more, and do it less to not stress others. I'm hearing from other painters that it's stressing them when they see others being more productive, and I can very much relate to that. So that's emotion I don't want others to have. I want the painters to be exchanging more and be more in a peaceful co-relationship. So yes, I get that. It's a very natural reaction, I would say. It's a weird feeling in which thinking by yourself become the key to please yourself and hobbies and keep growing in. Yeah, I started turning off my phone in the evenings, for example, to not look too much and those type of things. Over on YouTube. Ich baue gerade den Red Terror auf und werde dann deinen Patreon abonnieren, um ihn zu bemalen. Du hast mich ein Dschungelthema inspiriert. Perfekt. Vielen Dank, das freut mich sehr zu hören. Der Patreon ist auch unten verlinkt und da ist dann auch dieses Freehand-Pattern, was ich da drauf gemalt habe, drin. I'll do a quick break and grab a drink. I'll be back in a second. Okay, here I am again. Look at this fantastic drink that I got myself. Sparkling water Oh, you can actually see the sparkles on the surface. Sparkling water with some lemon. When I visited Vienna in January, this was my breakthrough revelation. They've been all drinking this drink. I was like, why am I not doing this? This is genius. Sparkling water with lemon, like 0 calories and just so much better than just regular water. It's insane. Hey, Lea, grüß dich. Guck mal hier, da sind die Farben. And now I will continue by pushing the highlights, and also something that I realized that is working really well is pushing a little bit of orange close to the parts that are connected to the claws. So for example, this area. See, there's a little bit of orange now in the mix. And I started doing this more towards the end of the process, since before the wash is kind of unifying everything. And I realized if I do it afterwards, the effect becomes stronger and more, since it's just very subtle, I need it to be like on the first layer. Let's put it that way. Look at that orange. Orange, pop, pop, pop. There we go. Whoop, whoop. A lot of orange, but I like it. Orange yellowy. Beißt sich schön mit dem Blau, oder? Teal and orange. Old trick from the film industry. Nothing new. Once again, I'm turning silent when I'm painting the small parts. Requires a little bit more concentration. It's always funny because I realize that I stop talking. Ah, this is fantastic, this bit. I really like how the shades have tinted the surrounding a lot. Here I need to go a little bit darker. Just like that, a little bit more reddish. This is fine. Oh yeah, and on the top I didn't really continue with the carapace. This is dry now. Can continue here. And all the way up to the teal. Ah. Continue with the time. Spoiler alert, this will take a little bit longer than 1 hour. we can stop at after an hour and have a look. But I want to... Like, the model's too big to be painted within 1 hour. Let's get a drink. Welcome to the stream. Blinded by Daylight. Blinded by Daylight sounds like a band. Wasn't that a band? I feel like it's a metal band. Blinded by the light. Welcome to the stream, Ranchi Papa. Vielen Dank, das freut mich, dass es dir gefällt. Das ist immer schön. The interesting discussions always get smaller once I'm getting into the... Like, the moment I grab a smaller brush, the discussions turn down. Because I'm not fantastic at painting detail and keeping up interesting talk. That's why usually in the stream I like to pick models that are fairly easy, that I can wet blend and do my speed painting approach. That's very great for streaming because it's a very loose approach. I don't think, it comes very natural to me. I don't have to think a lot, but for these little parts I need to concentrate, and then usually my stupid brain goes Okay, Blinded by Daylight, also keine Band. Na gut, jetzt lasse ich nochmal durchgehen. Okay. Augenrot oder Augengelb? Ich glaube, ich habe die bei den anderen so knallgelb gemacht. Gucken wir mal. I've painted some red eyes on the orcs that I did on the weekend, and it's something I liked. There you go. That's an eye. There's another one. Let's do some teeth too. For those details. Whoop. Fucked up the brush. There we go. There we go. Now I will start adding some details on all the reddish tongue and some of the skin parts. One of my colors that I haven't painted with in a long time, and now I've discovered it, a new love. It's a ruby. It's basically, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a red. I've put it on my color palette more in the pinkish section. But it's called Ruby Red or just Ruby. Oh no, it's just Ruby. So this is the color I'm painting with right now. Peachy sunset, blah blah blah. I don't know how to call it. Malen und reden ist wie sich den Kopf tätscheln und den Bauch reiben, während man Schlagzeug spielt. Fun fact, I could never, like this thing, I never understood. I could never do it. My brain is not capable of doing that. I never understood how people could do that. Statt die Vespiden fertig zu machen, hast du die Broadsides gemacht. Ich verstehe das Problem nicht. Ist doch geil. Okay, let's do some further highlights on the teeth so that they actually stand out in that mouth section. Okay. Hot. Hot, hot, hot. Hot girl Tyranid. Hot girls, hot Tyranid summer. That's what this trend is now. Let's glaze in some pinkish around these holes in that skin. There we go. I really enjoy watching the entire painting process, not the beginning and then the finished result, like the other painters do when they stream. I attend your Redaddle workshop. It was so cool. Nice! Good to hear you. What's your name, or where were you sitting? I'm bad at remembering names, but please tell me where you were sitting, then I know exactly who you are. The Redaddle workshop was really fun. I enjoy the beginner type of workshop a lot. I've just prepared for the next one. Ah, Ines. Yes, I remember. Ines was driving thousands of kilometers to attend the workshop. That was really nice. Ines won the prize on that day for traveling for the furthest distance. I remember very well. Okay, I will push some of the highlights a little bit further. So we're going in with a pale yellow now. And now I follow you on Patreon. Oh, thanks a lot for the support. Much, much appreciated. The slides that I have been showing in the workshop are there. And many, many, many other things. I'm sure you will find something, but feel free to drop me a question if you are not sure where to find something, because I think personally Patreon as a website itself is not the easiest to understand if you are not if you're not on the website all the time like I am. But for people who are joining Patreon for the first time, I feel like it's very hard to find some of the older things. That's why I have set up this external overview website thing. But yeah, feel free to just write me and text me. It's probably the easiest for you. Okay, this is looking nice. Fantastic model. Like, this is just when the sculpt is just so inviting to, like, these Tyranids, you can do whatever you want. Any skin color is fine since it's an organic shape. Any color combination can look good. Like, these are so forgiving. Absolutely, absolutely recommend painting Tyranids. But I'm a sucker for skins. Like, I like organic material a lot more than I like perfect armor. Some people enjoy painting Space Marines. Which is also fine, but for me, I like painting organic stuff like skins and leather and all that type of stuff a little bit more. Okay. I think this is going in a good direction. I want to push the ruby parts a little bit more. For example, on the tongue, the tip of the tongue. Like these things. Nice. A little bit around there. This thing. Just like adding splashes of color here and there. That's it. Speaking of stuff needing to get finished, it's close to 9 p.m. Now we'll switch to the other desk and finished. That's absolutely fine. Bye bye, Flo. Okay. Let me paint a little bit of the base. And for the base, the main concept that I have done is I've put some type of alien infested part onto it, and in order for that to be able to actually glow and actually do some work, I'm starting with a white paint as a preparation for the surface. Super rough sketch in here, nothing too fancy. And then hopefully done that. Just quickly let that dry and repaint some of the white so that it's actually pure white. Colors can be taking off. Sketchy, 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 sketch. Alright, fine. Where's the brass? I've just detected on the base there's one element that probably should be in brass. There's a lot of brass on these models. Look at this. This looks like a water hydrant, or however you call these type of things. Oh, by the way, now we're at 1 hour and 5 minutes. This is fine. And now turquoise and jade green. That's the magic juice that I was looking for. Let's get those colors onto the model. And also a little bit more into the bluish direction. Okay, so for the very center, I'll use some fluor paints. Fluor goes skrrr, brrr. Fluor ballert. Ballern ist gut. So, viel hell hilft viel. Dann gehen wir mal hier in so ein Blau rüber. And once again, like always, I'm wet blending everything to get nice, interesting color transitions. And I'll actually also wet blend a little bit onto these. And a little bit onto this. So now it's like mixing with the fluor paint. Very thin, very thin Also some darker parts are needed, so on the sides like here I'll include a little bit of, what's it called, dark sea blue. If everything is shining, nothing is shining, so we also need some darkness. And everything wet and wet. This is looking good. Now back to the colors. Constantly turning. If you've seen my one of my latest videos, it's what I call the Dönerspieß approach. I'm constantly turning the model. So this makes me not overthink anything. It's more about focusing on applying the colors and making the transitions. Look at that. Mit Wasser verdünnt die Flur? Nee, die Flur ist eine Ink, deswegen ist sie eh schon dünn von Haus aus. Oder mit Fluor verdünntes Wasser, genau. Stark. This is, on the camera it's not looking as nice as in reality. This is looking fire here on my desk. And once this is all dry, I will refine it a little bit. I've cut myself badly. This was bleeding like shit today. Classic scalpel action. Schon Patent auf den Namen, Dönerspieß Approach. No patents. It's really expensive to put on a patent, but I've put it on one of my latest videos, and I truly think it's actually a good approach. It's like just constantly turning, because then you stop overthinking. Oh yeah, Ben, I remember you had a bad accident. Hairdryer. One of the best hobby tools, a hairdryer. Strength and honor! Good to see you, man. Welcome to the stream. We're painting Tyranids. And since there's a little bit of glow here, I will also introduce a little bit of glow to the lower parts of the model for a little bit of atmosphere. So it actually feels like this thing is glowing and giving a little bit of light onto the model. Lower part of the tongue, for example, here. This thing. Making it a little bit more atmospheric. And now I will move on to painting this thing with some detail. So far it was all sketchy, and now we're moving to the more serious part. There we go. And then I will also, probably at the end, when all the models are kind of in this state, I'll do a gentle airbrush glaze just to tint them all in a similar direction and give a a little bit more of a controlled OSL effect with that fluor green. Not too harsh, like I don't want it to be overspreading everything that we did. Oh, look at that. Did you just see that? Hot. So this is fluor with a little bit of white in it. The white is important for the coverage, because the fluor is really bad at coverage and the white is really good at coverage. So we're making best of both worlds. These little dots, they make all the difference. They do all the heavy lifting. Let's introduce some more. Or actually, I could very well imagine this being up here a little bit too. Oh yes. Oh yes. This is now looking even more alien-like. And it separates it, makes these more special. Like tentacles. I kept calling them antennas. Look at that. Ooh, Burnout Brush raided with a group of 5. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the raid. What have you been working on? And also welcome Arrow Boy. Also over on YouTube some questions. Sind das Video und das Farbschema dieses Tyraniden auf Patreon verfügbar? Not yet. This is there are two videos in the planning. One is about this scheme that I have painted this week. And this is the first one of the Reveners, and I have the other 5 Reveners also ready, and one of them I will record and either do a video tutorial or a PDF tutorial about it. But yes, it's planned. The thing that is uploaded on Patreon already is the recipe for the yellow skin. So for it's called Pale Yellow Skin, and it's on one of the Gene Stealer models. I have done this as a tutorial already. And next up, then there's also coming a brass tutorial, because I have experimented a lot with the brass on the vehicles. Like most of the Gene Stealer vehicles will be, the majority will be covered in brass. And for this, I also recorded the process for brass and verdigris, because the color that I'm painting right now is very inviting for brass, since it's like this greenish tone, and brass often, as verdigris, has this green bluish color in the recesses, so it fits super well into the color scheme of the entire army. That's why I have chosen brass. And yeah, I did brass on Saturday. Saturday was a full brass day. Was actually quite fun. So yeah, usually everything that I paint, there is some type of tutorial, especially if it's a bigger project and I'm painting the same models over a bunch of longer periods. But also in this stream, like while I'm streaming right now, I cannot record for obvious reasons. That's why sometimes like for the stream, I save up certain models that I just look forward to paint without the tutorial running. Because for a tutorial, I'm always like, ooh, I need to check if everything's in focus and all that type of stuff. It's a little bit of a different approach. For painting, feels a little bit more like work, I have to admit, but that's fine. I will do whatever it takes so I can continue doing this full time. I just like, I cannot really express what it is, but I'm like, while painting, like, I can fall in love just with this detail forever. It's just like, for me, it's just so nice to see how the color is doing its magic on the model. There's music to it, and I just enjoy looking at the steps in between. I enjoy the final product. I enjoy the thoughts that go into developing the color scheme. I love how the colors behave. I love how I feel productive while doing this. Like, I have generated something. I have created something, and that's something that video games, for example, don't do it for me anymore. Like, I feel very, it's just like leisure time, and the time feels a little bit like wasted is a strong word, because I think it's also important to have time where you don't actively always produce output. But yeah, compared to a video game, you don't have anything in your hand afterwards, and I really love that this is making me feel like I've produced something. So yeah, there are many aspects of this hobby job that I am so in love with, and that I love sharing. Like, in the workshops, my main goal is just to spread my joy and enthusiasm for this, so that others can feel in a similar way, and we can just all have a better time. Look at this, pushing some of the final highlights, making this a little bit more extreme. The green is looking good. We'll speak about that when Dawn of War 4 releases. Good call, good call. Yeah, I am excited about Dawn of War 4. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie about that. Dawn of War 4 is going to ruin my life. Did you guys watch the interview? I actually interviewed, together with Hobby Hotel, I interviewed Jan Tyson, who is the head developer for Dawn of War 4. The game Dawn of War 1 is the reason why I'm painting minis today. It's my first contact point with the hobby. I think I'm not the only one. For many of us, it was this way. Look at this. Mantis watched it. Nice. Yeah, he's a super nice guy, right? I think you could tell he's one of us. Like, he's like genuinely interested in making a good game, and he wants. I really like the sentence where he said, I want to make a game that I also want to play myself. I think that's a very, very nice way to approach your job. I like this. Let's give this guy a black base rim. Whoop. Classic. Isn't that satisfying, huh? At the end of a project. There we go. I will let it dry. It all started with Dawn of War 1 for all of us. Yep. And here we go. 1 hour and 20 minutes. I will be doing some more refinements, but this is how far we got. in 1 hour. I like the colors a lot. He looks, I call this like the avatar scheme now. He looks a lot like he's on a, definitely on some alien infested type of planet. I like what's going on with the yellow skin tones. There's a lot of blue in the carapace. I could imagine toning this one down a little bit more into the browns so that there's like an actual color transition on the back of his thing. So there's a lot of blue there, but I could imagine toning this down a little bit so that the lower half is a little bit more dull. Just like that. Very subtle. Same with this one. The highlights up here for me are a little bit too pushed, so there's no difference compared to the top. And this feels like a step backwards sometimes. But now by darkening this looks brighter. So instead of, if you feel like your highlights are not pushing enough, sometimes the answer is not pushing the highlights further, but darkening the shadows. Makes sense, huh? Sounds counterintuitive at first, but yeah, there we go. I'm very, very happy with where this went. I'm glad you like it, Harambe. This is going your way. I hope this year. There's so many models. I really have to. They are all assembled now and all built. But it's a lot to paint. It's a lot to paint. I'm doing my best to get these ready in a good quality so that you can enjoy them. You're very patient. I love hearing that. Yeah. So yeah, my next steps for, like, also for this guy, you can see the base is not really done. So here you can see a little bit more of the brass. So what I will be doing is I will do the airbrush step first for all of them. So that's why I'm doing them in a group. And when the airbrush is also hitting the model a little bit, I'll do all the super fine refinement, because there's still, for example, here, down here, there's a little bit of, like, sometimes there's a little bit of mess going on, and I will do all the cleanup step after the airbrush, because sometimes the airbrush also touches parts of the models that I don't want to touch. And before I start masking over 200 models, I will rather save this next super fine refinement step and do it after the airbrushing, when I would need to do some refinement anyhow. Just like a matter of, let's call it project planning. So yeah, there's plenty of stuff that I could still do with this, but I will do it after the airbrushing. I'm very happy with the part of the model, how it turned out for now. And this is it. Yeah, this is like when you're playing and on the field, you will see it from this side most of the time. So this is also very important for me, that this is looking nice from this side. Okay. I'm fit. We could do another model, huh? I can show you what I've been painting on this morning. Little OSL party. Bam! Niels, deiner! It's looking like it's so on fire. But yeah, this is like a, compared to the 1 hour and 20 minutes, this has taken a lot longer. This has taken a lot longer, but I will not continue painting this model in the stream because it's my microscope project. Ja, das Zitronenwasser macht fit. So ist es. Let me go and get another model. I'll continue painting on a different model now. Let's paint one of the gargoyles. Or at least start. Let's see how long it takes. Pew. Let's go. Okay, just like before, I will start in. You can see I airbrushed them. I airbrushed them in the same way so that they are fitting together. They're one family. Welcome to the stream, Jerk Cola. Nice OSL. Thanks a lot. Yeah, it's one of the models that I've been investing some time in. So the little goblin is a project that's very dear to my heart. King of OSL is already taken by a miniaturista. He is definitely the the king of OSL. Every model he paints has OSL. I sometimes make exceptions and don't paint OSL. But for Juan, he has mastered the glowing and does it in basically every model. Mountains of minis looking at me. Well, does it make you feel any better if I tell you that it's exactly the same here? I think we all have that thing. There's a certain childish fascination to getting new models, and I think it's nice. Like, if you're having a bad day, you can buy models and feel better. Isn't that fantastic? It's like a Christmas on a regular Tuesday evening. What brushes sizes you use for most for detail? I have some Kolinsky size 2, but feels like the brush is bending and not stiff enough for the details. And if you use bigger brushes, then it's stiff enough. A little drip. Long answer. Kolinsky or synthetic brushes? That's probably more important than which size, because synthetic brushes are great because no animals are harmed while producing them. But unfortunately, there are so many, the majority, I would say everyone I have tested so far has not come up to the quality that a real hair sable can do. So I'm painting most of the time with real Kolinsky sable. But I wish there was a synthetic brush that could live up to the quality that I need. And most of the time, like, this is a size 1 now, but it feels a little bit bigger, to be honest. Yeah, every brand has different sizes. I feel like they all very different. I use 1, 2, and that's pretty much it. My most used brush is this one, Rosemary & Co. size 1, and it's about this big. I use this a lot. These ones I'm using right now are just a little bit bigger, and I use them for base coating. Like right now, I'm just blocking in the colors. And for that, I don't really need details. I think in my workshops, I force people to use, I force people to use big brushes. People think, oh, I want to do a good paint job, so I start with small brushes because then I can paint all the detail. I think it's so important to start with a gigantic brush, because then you don't fall in love with all the detail and you can get the overall setting right. And then later in the process, you can switch to a smaller brush and do all the small stuff, because then already the big questions are answered. Where's the light coming from? What colors are the parts? But if you start small, then you fall in love with every single detail, you spend a ton of time in it, and you are afraid of changing it. And being afraid is bad while painting. We want to be free and loose and capable of changing anytime throughout the process. Oh, you like the bases? Yeah, there's like, this bit is from one company, this is from one company, this is from one company, this is a spare piece from some leftover that I had. Yeah, there's been a lot of action on the bases. I love building bases so much. It's the only way how to put these into perspective. So they are actually now telling a little story where they are, and that's something I like about bases. And I'm a little bit sick about seeing these tournament bases where people just put sand on the base and say, this is finished now. Missed opportunity, in my opinion. Okay, now I will do something that might that might feel illegal. Let's zoom in for that. Up. I figured while I was doing the previous one as a test, I figured it's really nice to have these. Random patterns going on. And later on, like this is the first layer, later on I will start by refining this with brighter colors. But for now, we are starting with wine red and dragon blood. I need some chewy sticks in some of the bases. All right, I got you. It's one of the rare bases where I hardly used any sticks, because I use sticks all the time. But if you want to, I can put some sticks into some hand-picked sticks into either the bases or into the package. So this is the classic trust the process part. Push through the ugly stage. This might seem very counterintuitive, but as you can see, I started very rough and very thick. Hey, Burnout Brush! Thanks for the raid. Welcome to the stream. We're doing some more Tyranids. Just started the second model, and we're going in with some funny brush strokes on the wings that will eventually lead up to this effect. So this is the final result. But for now, we start with the first round. Welcome to the stream. Thanks, glad you like it. What were you painting? Oh, the consistency the consistency of the paint is just yummy right now. I love it when I can see that the shape of the brush is actually impacting the form of the brush, so that the when I end a brush stroke that it's actually fading out. I like that. So I'm just like stacking these on top of each other. Ooh, so many new first-time chatters. I love seeing that. Welcome everyone. I feel so Gene Stealer with all the random scraps. It's perfect. Glad you like it. I was holding him captive. I was painting pain in Magic. Wait. I'm not sure if I understand. Magic? Like Magic the Gathering? Because I was just saying at the beginning of the stream. Oh, hell yeah. I was just saying in the beginning of the stream, I'm actually very much looking forward to the weekend because I'm taking a weekend off. And what I'm doing is we bought 2 displays, Strixhaven and Final Fantasy. And I'm going into a cabin in the woods with some friends. And we are going to rip up 2 displays, draft some Commander, draft some regular 60 cards format, 40 cards format, and play some Commander in a cabin in the woods with some fresh cards, fresh from the boosters. And I'm very much looking forward to that. Tyrannofex for a commission, nice. Drazi goes brrr. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Annihilator 20 goes brrr. Yeah, the Tyranids, like, I can't get enough of the Tyranids thing. It's just so inviting for all the different color schemes. I could do 20 armies of Tyranids in a row and paint them all differently. I gotta jump and run to do some post-stream stuff, but thanks for the stream. Much appreciate the raid. I totally get it. Grab some drinks, grab some food, and chill. I had 182 life. Opponent had minus. Oh yeah. That sounds very familiar. Welcome back, Folka. Dope weekend ahead. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I'm so much looking forward to that weekend. You can feel, can you imagine the pain and struggle I had? I'm living at home here with 2 displays, untouched, unopened. Hardest, toughest times ever. Just like felt the urge of opening some displays every day. Was like a mental test. A man of discipline, that's right, yeah. But now finally I can give in to my weaknesses on the weekend. And like I don't even need to pull crazy good cards. I just wanna, like, I just enjoy opening packs and going like, oh, look at this sick artwork. Oh, look at this card. This is going to be fun. And ooh, this is going to be nice in combination with that. And this process is just pure joy to me. And I mean, it is expensive. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It is a stupid, like, they're literally printing money. But at the same time, if I compare how much money I've spent in my life on stupid shit, and then thinking back on all the happy moments I had while opening magic packs. Actually, I think it's once in a while. It's like I'm not like crazy addicted. I used to be, but like doing this once in a while, it feels very okay-ish. It's like sharing a display with friends with four people. If you divide it by four, it's a reasonable thing to do. So werden Grey Knights ausgebildet, bin ich mir sicher. Ja, die werden neben Displays gesetzt und dann darfst du sie nicht ausmachen. The surprise at what makes it so fun. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's very good. All right. I've missed this little bit, but besides that, close to moving to the next step, since this is basically the preparation for the next one. The next one wants to be a little bit brighter so that this overlapping effect can actually start doing its magic. Okay, what about the underside? Since you never see this, I'm not focusing on this side too much, but also I don't want to leave it unpainted. So this is the Faramir side. The top side is the Boromir side. And obviously the top side will get all the love. Speaking of which, let's get in there. Oh yes, yes, Boromir. You've always been my favorite son. I wish your brother would be more like you. Whatever's left on paint in this brush, I will use for the bottom side. If there's nothing left, then Faramir gets nothing. That's fine with me. But for the top side, I will reload the brush as many times as I want. Look at that. Or you want me to eat little cocktail tomatoes? I'll make Pippin sing a nice song to it too. Da 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 da. Doesn't it go like that somehow? Oh, bum 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 bum. I think it's something like that. It's very sad. It's obviously very sad, and it's so well done because at the same time, Faramir just gets shot by all these arrows. But I think it's one of the best scenes in the third movie because the contrast between the fast pace in slow-mo of the riders, him standing in the citadel, singing that song, so good. Daheim verblasst, die Welt rückt nah. Yeah, Bimo, Ben, you come over and sing for us. Pumping up the contrasts now a little bit, getting more to the brighter tones towards the middle. I'm actually going to see Linkin Park next week, which is crazy because as a kid, I always wanted to see Linkin Park live and was a huge dream. And when Chester died, it was like, for me, it was like Linkin Park is over. And now, oh, you saw Chester, damn. Yeah, it was a huge dream of mine. But I have to say, I'm a huge fan of Emily too. But yeah, obviously Linkin Park was like when I was like 13, 14 years old, Linkin Park was peak. It was like I was listening to nothing else. And during that peak, um not quite. I have to like if I'm thinking back correctly, not exactly during the peak. It was the album with House of Glass that was coming afterwards. And I think during that project, Chester died. But I remember like Meteora, all that stuff. It was just it was peak. And during that time, I would have given a lot to see them live. And now I'm seeing them next week with Emily. I'm very curious. It's probably going to be special. Yeah, it'll be amazing. Okay. Nice. Yeah, well, sometimes on a big festival, there's a lot of factors like audio, the loudness. Sometimes like I'm seeing stuff live and it's just like bad audio because someone just didn't balance the instruments and the singing stuff in a proper way. So sometimes that it feels very off. Yeah, Arctic monkeys are nice too. Okay, this looks nice. Very cool. Can he be friends with this guy? Yeah, they can be friends. Ooh. Block party. Oh yeah, the new Lord of the Rings. Like, I mean, there's two new Lord of the Rings. There's a new the season 3 of the Rings of Power is coming end of the year, and then there's the movie, right? The Search for Gollum. Which one are you thinking about? What are you thinking about? Mayday, mayday. We are thinking. Still one of the best ads ever. Making fun of the German accent. Um, we are thinking. What are you thinking about? That was peak humor. I'm thinking of Gollum and hoping for the best. Yeah, me too. I have higher hopes for the Gollum than Rings of Power. The Rings of Power, season 1 got bashed a lot, and I went into season 1 with like, no matter what, it's Middle Earth. I'll enjoy it, and I was not 100% enjoying it. but I don't think it was as bad as everyone said. And then season 2 is even like, I think season 2 should have gotten bashed more. Yeah, I'm summary is I'm not a big fan. But it's Middle Earth, so I will watch it. Yeah, same here. I used to be a huge Star Wars fan, but it was just too much, honestly. There was just constantly something being published, and it was just too much. You couldn't catch up. I didn't like that. Pushed me a little bit away from Star Wars. And there was also, obviously, if you're doing so much, the quality can't always be fantastic. I loved Andor. I think Andor is probably the best thing that ever happened to Star Wars. And it's crazy because every single person I know was saying, well, this is great. And I really wonder why they cannot manage to go like, oh, what do people like? Let's do more of that because that's successful. But instead they just go like, yeah, well, they like that. Let's continue producing the shitty shows too. I don't get that. Like, just give more executive power to the people that made Andor. Make them in charge of all the decisions, and you have a fantastic recipe for more good stuff. Like, they don't have to produce all of the other things, but just like give them a hint in the right direction. Like, have them like a someone who's on the set and going like yay or nay. Can't be that hard. Just like someone going like, don't do fan service, do proper storytelling. That's all I want. Yeah, Andor is crazy good. There was a time where I rewatched the scene from Andor 1. I don't think so many people watched Andor. Really? I think didn't it win like tons of prizes? It's like super highly rated show. But I could also imagine if that's the fact that it's not that many people watched it, it's probably because they have flooded the market before and everyone was like, oh, just another Star Wars show. So maybe it's a little bit that. But yeah, I've been rewatching the scene from Andor 1 so many times where he's on the bridge and is just being asked like, and what did you sacrifice? And he just goes, calm, kinship. And then this whole monologue of, I've given up my dreams to defeat the enemy with the weapons of their choice, and all that monologue, it's so good. And then he just goes, I sacrificed everything. Ah, I've watched this so many times you have no idea. I it gives me chills every time I see it. And it makes me angry when people say the coolest scene from Andor is where he is doing his spaceship things. Yes, it's cool, but the speech, mwah. Yeah, it's the good side. It's the good side of Star Wars. It's the one that's very system critical. It's the one that's very anti imperial in terms of it's very in these times it's a very what's the correct English word? It's very relevant in this time So it's also very political, and I just like the overall dark, gritty vibe that's been going on. Good stuff. What I loved in the early Game of Thrones. Oh yeah. Let me actually pump up the brightness a little bit. It got dark outside. Speaking of Tarantino, I've watched the Hateful Eight for the first time the other day. And I think it was actually a really good movie. But again, I just don't like Tarantino. Like, I think he does such smart and nice movies. And for me, he always ruins it by just letting everyone shoot themselves at the end of the movie. I'm so bored by this outcome. It's like you're just waiting for. You already know it's going to happen. And I wish he would do just a smart movie once. Just only like these nice dialogues. This, yeah, it's just smart. It's very, very smart dialogue and very nice storytelling. It felt a lot like a piece of a theater because it's all playing basically in this one room. So it felt like a piece from a theater, and that's something I really liked. But then they all shoot each other, and everyone dies, and it's blood everywhere. It's like, oh yeah, here we go again. Haven't seen this before. I'm, yeah. When it comes to this part, I'm not the biggest fan of Tarantino's stuff. I wish there would be like a Peggy 14 version. Hey Nils, schön, dass du da warst. Schlaf süß, träum süß, mein Kindchen. The Tarantino Kids version. One day. When he gets older, like he grows old, he wakes up one day and he goes, "Oh, what have I done all these years? I could have been genius, but instead I chose to be just violent." And then he turns old and then he gets wise and then he does the movies that he's always meant to be doing. You heard it here first on a Chewy Tuesday. Tarantino goes kids. That sounded very wrong. I'll take that one back. Tarantino makes kids movies better. Nice save, Lucas. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Ah, this is just fantastic. Look at this wet blending, all these mint tones going into the brasses. I love that. It's fantastic. Let's put some yellow into these too. And I feel like this is... There's a color called rubber black, so let's use it. Oh, dude, let me show you something about... Since you mentioned the brass, let me show you something. Here is the good stuff. I need to zoom out because all the vehicles are so big, but this is going to be very, very, very cool. You're all getting like an exclusive preview of what's going on. I mean, this is basically no colors blocked in and just doing the metallics, but this is going to be fantastic, especially like when you have like two of them next to each other. and this one has like little eggs. And there's so much cool color patterns going on, and I want all of the weapons where there's like more of the electricity parts going in to be even more extreme. So there's going to be a lot of cleanup after I blocked in all the colors, like just where's the rubber black, just blocking in this will do a lot of work, just going around the tires and tidying this kind of stuff up. This will look amazing, but yes, I'm very much looking. I finally defined the recipe for this, and then applied it to all the vehicles. This one's quite far. This one's going in a good direction. This one's in an earlier stage, but just like having these, just this. I mean, that's Ben. Those are the oil paints that you gave me, but just like the richness of color is so much fun. Like there's some speed paint in there, so there's more red hues. Maybe you can see this. It's very subtle. Yeah, and then just like this brass on these bases, it's just working. I'm very, very happy that all the theory parts that I put in the beginning are now paying off. So yeah, this is the box with all the cars and all the vehicles prepared. Since you mentioned the brass, I was like, well, I've prepared some of that. The rusty red roof cap. That's right. Yes, it's a fantastic project. But since there's also so much other things going on, I cannot be painting 24/7. There's also some Patreon tutorials and content preparation. That's why these big projects usually just take some time. I'm so happy that you like them, man. Live project update. There we go. Yeah, I cannot wait to see the entire army ready. And now, at some point, I realized basically brass, especially adding a lot of red into it, is basically inverted rust. Because rust, on metallics, you use very red, orange tones in the recesses and paint a bluish steel on top. And brass is basically a bluish turquoise in the recesses, painting reds, oranges on top. Right? Hey, Zulumin Keep. Thanks for the Prime abo. Much appreciated. Oh yeah, I always forget that. Anyone who has Amazon Prime, which is a lot of us, you can connect it to Twitch and then just do a free Prime abo, which is $5 straight into my pocket, which is amazing, and it doesn't cost you extra. Isn't that a good deal? So yes, anyone who has a Prime abo and wants to leave one here, that's highly appreciated. So thanks a lot, Solomon. Just adding these brass colors on the tires now. So that this base is looking a little bit more finished. Also jumping into the greens over there. blending in some colors over there. Here we go. Let's go. Okay, and now these are dry, so we can move on to some edge highlighting of the armor up there. Hey, look at that! My little advertisement worked! Thanks a lot, guys. Much appreciated. Also to you, Ranchi Monster. Thanks. There we go. Okay, let's continue. And also I want to try on these what I have figured out on the... Where is he? On this fella, that the purple in the bottom parts are actually looking good. So I want to... Like this one... This one isn't as inviting for this because it's all on the same level basically. Mantis got the Wookiee sound? Alright. It's all on the same level, so there's no big difference in the light. If the light is coming from the top, they are all exposed in a very similar way. And in this mini, there's a clear top and a clear bottom. Like this one's basically parallel to the source. But hey, it's a fantasy mini, so we can do whatever we want. And I want to test that. Ben, what are you doing actually? Are you already building some Maschinenkrieger? Or is it some other spare hobby time? I started building my very first Maschinenkrieger set, and I'm a little bit excited. The shapes are just so... It's basically like Warhammer was invented for the first time. This is a little bit how it feels. Just being in a universe that I'm not used to feels fantastic. It's very refreshing. New fresh air, different approaches. I love it. And I will actually make it into a Warhammer X Maschinenkrieger crossover. So there will be some Warhammer in it. All right, let's push the highlights a little bit more. Look at that. I'm precise, so I'm silent once again. And when I'm saying precise, that's always just in comparison to what I used to do. Look at all those chickens. Someone got a good meme that I don't know yet? Like, I want to fall in love with a new meme. I want it to be underground. Like, don't hit me with the front page stuff. And it doesn't have to be right now. But if something pops into your mind, please feel free to send it over. Will do. Hey! Hola! Welcome to the stream. Sent one on Instagram. Volker, why do I have a bad feeling about this? Is it going to be a dad joke? Just the way I like it. Just how you like it, girl. Okay, okay. Oh, that was a meme loophole a couple of months ago. The whole thing of like, this is my impression of an Italian, whatever, something with Italians, and it was basically just all of them going like, okay, and always extra pronouncing the K. That was something I couldn't get rid of. Okay, nice, nice, nice. Let's do the skin next. I will check my Instagram later. I'm in the painting flow right now, and I'm enjoying that. Oh, actually, let me first start with some red into the recesses here. Just like that. Is that all the red parts? Yeah, basically. Huh. I thought there was a bunch of stuff compared to the other model. There's basically any yellow skin on these ones. But let's push that. Ah. Gargoyles are such nasty, like they are described in every book, like such a nasty, extra nasty type of Tyranid. I remember in one of the first Horus Heresy books, they're on a planet, they're not gargoyles and they're not Tyranids, they're an extra species, I forgot their name. What was their name? Never mind. But they also they are described at picking, like having wings, picking up their prey, putting them on spikes, just like the bird that I posted the other day. And this is like, this stuck with me a lot. The way they've been described there was very metal, very dark, very brutal. So every time I think of the gargoyles, I actually have the description of these ones, these aliens, in my head. Actually, I'm just like like I like to listen to a lot of books, but just now I'm listening to the Uriel Ventris books. And in one of the Uriel Ventris books, the Tyranids are being described a little bit more in depth, and Inquisitor Cryptman is actually analyzing them and finds a way of how to implant a like a gene seed error into the Norn mother so that then they can be defeated and that kind of stuff. And that's super interesting, but I've never heard anything like it before. So if there are more books like that where the Tyranids are being described, I'd be very much interested. It's like from a very scientific point of view. Whoop, that was too much water. Let's soak that up with an empty brush. Fix that. There we go. We're back on track. That was a classic water spill. Yeah, I already checked for all of the gene stealers because when I started the gene stealer project, I was like, ooh, in order to get into the full mood, let's listen to some gene stealer books. But all of them are not for free on Spotify, so no gene stealer books for me. I want the free audio books. Okay, looking good. Pushing it one more. Day of Ascension. Yeah, that's the one that I was looking up. Everyone has been recommending that one to me, but yeah, it's not out there for free. If I start paying for audiobooks with the speed I'm going through audiobooks, it will ruin me financially forever. I'm listening to like 2 entire books per week. So that's 8 per month, pretty much. I'm just sitting here at this desk doing what I'm doing quite a lot. So I barely listen to music here. I only listen to music when I'm outside. But when I'm painting, I usually never listen to music. I just listen to audiobooks. It's my favorite thing to do. But you're busy enough, yeah. Yep. Okay, cool. I like this. Let's do the trick that I've been doing before. With a little bit of color richness into this. Also blocks in some of those details. This is nice. Transitioning nicely into the reds. And then I can do some cleanup once everything is in place. And then you gotta do the cleanup rather fast since these are pooling. So that's what I will be doing now. So this is just like an empty brush now. Whoop. Okay. Exposing those parts again. And I'll let that dry and catch up with the stream again. Death Welder is a good Katachan and Tyranid one. Alright. I don't know that one. Same at work. Just started Horus Heresy. Seems kind of good till now. Oh yeah, the first couple of books with the Horus Heresy are mwah. The first 3 or 4 are fantastic. There are some good ones later on, but there are also some not so good ones later on. Have you heard of the Death of Integrity or the Emperor's Gift? I've listened to the Emperor's Gift. I really like that one. I listened to it not long ago. And the one I'm listening to right now, I'm really enjoying. The Uriel Ventris number 2 and number 3 are so good. Look at that. I've been productive tonight. Painted some models. I'll let this dry and do the details tomorrow morning. I know I'm not feeling any urge to continue. This feels very good for today. Look at that. Fantastic. Little squad. These are going to look fantastic if they're like 10 of those standing right next to each other. So I'll be doing a tutorial for these very soon, and then they can be like friends and go like, and they're all on different heights. Like you can see the level. Like I know this trick from some tournament plays. So apparently it's a thing to always have these in a different height. So if they are all on the same height, then the wings touch when you place them next to each other. But if they're on different heights, they can actually overlap, and then you can actually play them in a closer squad, and they're more effective and smaller, you know. Hacks, cheating, that type of stuff. Picking out some of the original hard contrasts. Nice. I'm not sure how much longer I can resist, but very soon I will have to paint the Death Leaper. It's such a cool model. Again, I've already painted one for Mr. Skuladadgal. I can never pronounce the name, but I'm pretty sure it was you. So I already know the model, and I know how much I like it. The upper claws of this lictor thing is just so good. This is it for me today. I've been a busy boy. Full day of working, full day of painting. But I'm very happy. I will go to bed. Ja, der Death Sleeper gehört zu diesem Ami-Projekt. Der kommt in diesem Color Scheme. Alrighty. Thanks for joining. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for your interest. I will find another channel to raid. Does anyone know this, by the way? Does anyone know the little icon? It's kind of hard to see, but if you know it, you might recognize it. All right. Have a nice Moomin. Yes, Moomin. Everyone knows it. Fantastic. I love it. All right. Have a good evening, and bye-bye.